Welcome to the last session on the Harmoniemesse, the Agnus Dei, or more properly the Dona Nobis, because the main Agnus words are taken just by the soloists, and the choir doesn't sing until the last three words, although Haydn makes the last three words last 11 pages. It is one of the problems for someone writing a mass, especially if the mass is generally a joyous one, like this, that the last words are Dona Nobis Pacem, give us peace. If you end peacefully, it may not feel as if it balances the more energetic earlier sections. This is one of the reasons requiems work so well. There can be plenty of drama along the way, but the beginning and end texts are both to do with rest and peace, so your framing sections will automatically balance. Anyway, as Haydn often does, he sets the words Dona Nobis Pacem in a celebratory style, repeating the words for 11 pages, as I say, as if the words are more to do with glory than peace. This gives a feeling of balance to the overall mass, but also Haydn was famous for liking a little joke, so a fortissimo finish with lots of high notes on the word peace would have appealed to his sense of the ridiculous. This section will be conducted in two, so minim beats. Mainly in this movement we're going to sing 4-bar phrases rather than breathing at the repeated words as we often do. So no breath after the second bar you sing or in the same place in the next phrase. Just before B, everybody take a quaver breath, but then another 4-bar phrase. Breathe after Pacem in 4 after B, the basses have a rest anyway, and then again not between the 6th and 7th after B. Altos and basses quaver breath after Pacem in 8 after B. Then after that until C, the only breath that is not a rest is the tenors at the end of 10 before B. In this section there are lots of entries on a minim after a crotchet rest. As we are in 2, this comes out as an offbeat, a syncopation. This starts 7 after B, and then one part or other has this rhythm in nearly every bar until C. Make sure every one of these entries is firm and with a strong consonant, the D of Dona or the P of Pacem. Most of the notes on this page are fairly straightforward, but sopranos watch out for the F sharp 8 before C. This is an awkward interval and may go wrong if you don't think about it. Just find my place. So I'm going to play from 11 before C for the sopranos. So it's 1, 2. Now with the chords around it, it sounds quite logical, but the note in 9 and 8 before C is an interval that's notoriously difficult to pitch, so make sure you get your brains around that one. Then the section after C is a bit smoother for contrast, with a very dramatic moment 9 before D, when everyone will have to watch out for their notes. Sopranos, beware your E natural just before the big chord. There are E flats in the bar before, so you'll have to think about this. Here's the lead up to the dramatic chord. I'll play from the 9th bar after C to give you the lead in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this is where the sopranos are starting the word Pacem, rising chromatically. So this is how it goes. 1, 2. So there's your big dramatic diminished 7th chord. So sopranos, if you get the E natural, you've not got a problem there. Altos, so just a chromatic fall. Tenors, yours is actually the most logical note there, and then bass is just going down. But you will be expecting a B flat there. Would be more logical, but so all be ready for that moment of drama. In the section that comes 9 after D, very smooth and no breaths except for the rest, except for 2 places. Tenors, Second bar of E, breathe after Pacem to give yourself plenty of breath for the high phrase coming up. And then before F, altos, breathe at the end of this bar, otherwise you'll have a ridiculously long phrase. In this section, the syncopated entries start reappearing, so again, make the most of them. From F to 5 after G, again, there are no breaths except at the rest, except one place, the sopranos at the end of the 6th after F, as you will need one there. At H, again, a 4-bar phrase with no breath. This is exactly the same as the start. In fact, we carry on until after J with no breaths except after the rests. Lot more syncopated entries to make the most of. And then 6 after J, there's a great passage where the basses and sops need to shine in particular. The syncopated sop part is quite tricky. So just have a listen to that. Again, find it. So, sopranos, this is your part. So you're on a top F, and so it goes 1, 2, 1. So, da. So plenty of syncopation, and then the basses have a great one of those moments that where the basses really shine. So the two together. I'll try that again, shall I? Okay, so both parts really strong there. Then the solos take over for a short passage before the final choir bit. From the 3rd after K until L, this phrase all in one breath, please. At L, after the pause chord, be ready for the syncopated entry. Though Haydn has used this rhythm many times in this movement, he's never before had the choir singing it all at the same time, so this should have a real impact as he now does so 3 times in a row. And then, as if he's really wishing to ram home the fact that he's setting the word parce in a triumphant way, he treats all the parts to a top note they don't usually get. Tenors and sops go up to a top B flat, and altos and basses to an F. This should be a glorious moment. Then in the 5th bar from the end, everyone take a quick breath before the last 5 notes, giving a little emphasis to the last phrase. So, I hope you've enjoyed looking at the Harmoniemesse, and I'm looking forward, once we get some kind of timetable for the future, to being able to program this when the opportunity allows.